The mahogany conference table stretched before me like a funeral pyre, ready to burn what remained of my family ties. I smoothed my thrift store blazer, painfully aware of how it clashed with Tessa's tailored Chanel suit. My name is Maria, and I was about to learn exactly how little my parents thought of me. Shall we begin? Kira adjusted her reading glasses, shuffling the papers that would determine our futures. My sister Tessa sat perfectly poised, while I slouched in my chair, picking at a loose thread on my sleeve. In the matter of the last will and testament of Zachary and Gwendolyn Sanders, Kira's voice droned on with legal jargon until the real daggers began to fall. To our eldest daughter Tessa, we leave our family estate at 1542 Maple Grove, including all contents and furnishings. I kept my face neutral, though my fingernails dug crescents into my palms. Additionally, the 1967 Corvette Stingray, along with a responsibility bonus of $250,000. Tessa dabbed at her eyes with a monogrammed handkerchief. I fought the urge to gag. And to our younger daughter, Maria. Kira paused, adjusting her glasses. The silence stretched like taffy. Well? I prompted, my voice sharper than intended. To Maria, we leave our sincere hope that she will finally find direction in her life. While we love her dearly, her history of unstable choices and questionable business ventures makes us unable to entrust her with significant assets at this time. The words hit like slaps. Unstable, questionable, unable to entrust. That's it? I heard myself ask. I'm afraid so. Kira closed the folder with a soft snap. Tessa reached across the table, her perfectly manicured hand seeking mine. Maria, I'm so sorry. Maybe we could. I jerked away. Don't touch me. They were just trying to protect you, Tessa said softly. Your furniture flipping thing, the dumpster diving. They worried. My thing pays my rent, I shot back. Unlike your trust fund. Ladies, Kira interrupted, there are some additional documents requiring signatures. I signed where indicated, my signature growing increasingly jagged. Each scratch of pen on paper felt like writing my own epitaph. I hope you'll channel this into something positive, Kira said as I stood to leave. Her tone carried that special blend of condescension reserved for disappointing children. Oh, I'll channel it all right. I slung my bag over my shoulder. Tessa, enjoy the house and the car and being the responsible one. Maria, wait. But I was already gone, my boots clicking against marble floors as I fled the law office. Outside, spring sunshine mocked my darkness. I walked 6 blocks to where I'd parked my beat-up van, the one with salvaged Grace, hand-painted on the side. My apartment welcomed me with its familiar scent of furniture polish and possibility. Scattered around the small space were my works in progress. A Victorian settee waiting for new upholstery, an Art Deco cabinet mid-restoration. I crossed to my workbench and pulled out the leather-bound ledger where I tracked my sales. The latest entry showed a $12,000 profit from a matched pair of restored Danish modern chairs. Not bad for questionable business ventures. Flipping to a fresh page, I wrote the date at the top. Below it, I began sketching a new design, something bold, something that would make them all choke on their words. My phone buzzed. A text from Tessa. Can we talk about this? I deleted it without responding. Another buzz, this time from my Uncle Vance. Your parents just wanted what's best. Delete. I turned off my phone and opened my laptop instead. The Salvaged Grace Instagram account showed steady growth. 15,000 followers now, each one a potential customer. My latest post, featuring a transformed mid-century credenza, had nearly 2,000 likes. Questionable ventures indeed. The sun set while I worked, sketching and planning. When darkness fell, I lit my workbench lamp and pulled out a fresh bottle of wine. No crystal glasses here, just a coffee mug with a chip in the rim. To new beginnings, I toasted the empty room, then opened my business plan document. The cursor blinked expectantly. I began to type, Phase 1, scale operations. Phase 2, secure major contracts. Phase 3. I paused, considering the weight of what I was about to write. The wine burned warm in my throat as I completed the sentence. Phase 3, take everything back. My fingers traced the edge of my ledger, feeling the worn leather under my fingertips. In this book, I'd recorded every success, every failure, every step forward in building my business. Now it would record something else. My resurrection. I'm going to make them choke on their words, I whispered to the quiet room. Every last one. 6 months before the will reading, I was sharing a cramped warehouse space with my then boyfriend Andy, dreaming bigger than our bank account allowed. This piece could sell for $3,000. Easy, I said, running my hands over a battered Art Deco sideboard I'd rescued from behind an estate sale. Andy barely looked up from his phone, if anyone actually sees it. That's what social media is for. I wiped sweat from my forehead, leaving a streak of sawdust. We just need to build the right following. We need actual money, Andy countered, not likes and shares. I ignored his negativity, focusing instead on the potential beneath the scratched veneer. 2 days later, the sideboard was transformed, gleaming wood, restored hardware, and a subtle modern twist in the finish that made it uniquely mine. I posted it at midnight. By morning it had sold for $3,500. Holy shit, Emery said when she arrived for her shift. My newest hire, she had an eye for design and zero tolerance for nonsense. Someone actually paid that. Rich people love upcycled anything, I grinned, especially if it comes with a story. The next few weeks blurred into a rhythm. Source, restore, photograph, sell. Each piece brought new followers, new customers, new possibilities. But Andy grew increasingly distant. Then came the morning I arrived to find the warehouse half empty. His tools gone, his projects vanished. A note on my workbench read, "Found a real job. Good luck with your dumpster diving." I called Emery in tears. She arrived with coffee and determination. "Screw him," she declared, setting up her laptop. "Let's turn this into something he'll regret walking away from." We worked 18-hour days. Emery handled the business side while I focused on design. Every piece that left our warehouse was photographed magazine style, with detailed stories about its transformation. The Instagram following grew 20,000, 50,000, 100,000. Then came the message that changed everything. "Is this Maria?" The voice on the phone was crisp, professional. "I represent the Archer Hotel Group. We're interested in commissioning pieces for our new location." I gripped the phone tighter. "How many pieces?" 35. All custom. "Budget is 7 figures if you can deliver within 60 days. My heart stopped. "Send me the details." After hanging up, I sat in stunned silence until Emery returned from a supply run. "We need to hire people," I told her. "Like yesterday." "For what?" I showed her the email from Archer. Her eyes widened at the numbers. "Holy! Can we do this?" "We have to." I pulled up our project board. "And we need to do it quietly." "Why quietly?" "Because success is the best revenge." I pointed to the social media accounts I'd been monitoring. "Look who just started following us." There on the screen was Tessa's profile, complete with her perfect life photos and carefully curated captions about family legacy. Emery whistled low. "She has no idea it's you, does she?" "Salvaged grace could be anyone," I smiled. "And it's going to stay that way until the perfect moment." We hired 6 craftspeople that week. The warehouse transformed into a proper workshop. Every surface held projects in various stages of completion. "The first pieces go out tomorrow," Emery announced one evening, checking her clipboard. "You should see the deposit they sent." I was barely listening, focused on the vintage vanity before me. Its mirror reflected my determined expression as I worked. "Maria," Emery's voice softened, "when are you going to tell your family?" "When I can buy their precious house out from under them," I applied another layer of finish, watching it shine. "When I can prove that their unstable daughter built something they couldn't ignore." My phone buzzed. Another message from Tessa. "Missing you at Sunday dinner. Mum and Dad's chairs are still empty." Delete. The Archer order shipped on time. The hotel's designer called it revolutionary. 3 more luxury hotels reached out the following week. I hired 10 more people, then 20. Salvaged grace pieces started appearing in design magazines, though no one knew who was behind the brand. "We need a bigger space," Emery declared, dodging workers in the crowded warehouse. "And you need a proper office." "Soon," I promised, checking my phone. A notification caught my eye. Tessa had posted again. "Hard times remind us what matters. Praying for guidance," I showed Emery. "Think the perfect sister is having money troubles?" Want me to do some digging? Please. I turned back to my workbench, where a new piece waited. And Em, check the auction listings for Maple Grove, just in case. She nodded, understanding exactly what I meant. That night, I stayed late, restoring a music box I'd found at an estate sale. Its melody was haunting, beautiful, and slightly broken, like all the best things I'd saved. My phone lit up with another notification. $1 million opportunity for the right designer. DM for details. I smiled, thinking of the family who thought I'd never amount to anything. Just watch me, I whispered to the empty warehouse. Just watch me now. Tessa's Instagram feed was like watching a castle crumble in real time. Gone were the weekly brunches at exclusive restaurants replaced by cosy, home-cooked meals. Her designer outfits gave way to posts about finding joy in simplicity. Look at this, I called to Emery, scrolling through my phone. She's selling her Hermes bags on Poshmark. Emery peered over my shoulder. 10 listings in 2 days. Someone's desperate. The perfect sister, selling her precious things. I couldn't hide my satisfaction. How the mighty have fallen! A notification popped up, another message from our old neighbour, Mrs. Peterson. You should know, dear. Your sister hasn't left that house in weeks. The lawn's getting wild, and I heard her crying on the phone yesterday about mortgage payments. I set my phone down, letting that sink in. The family estate, the one place I'd never been good enough for, was slipping through Tessa's manicured fingers. Should we drive by? Emery suggested. Just to see. The familiar streets of my childhood felt smaller now. We cruised past Maple Grove at dusk, my headlights catching the overgrown hedges and peeling paint. Only one window glowed, up in what used to be our parents' room. Stop here, I told Emery. Through the window, I could see Tessa's silhouette. She was alone, head in her hands. Karma's a funny thing, Emery mused. Keep watching the auction listings, I said, pulling away from the curb. I want to know the second it goes up. Back at the warehouse, orders kept flowing in. Each piece we shipped built our reputation, though no one knew who was behind the brand. I worked through the night, transforming discarded furniture into art while monitoring Tessa's slow descent. Her latest post caught my eye. Sometimes life forces you to make impossible choices. Pray. Faith, they will family. The comments were telling. Girl, are you okay? Call me if you need to talk. What happened to the family business? I clicked through to her profile. Her bio had changed. Open to new opportunities. DM for collaboration. Getting desperate, sis, I muttered. My phone rang. Mrs. Peterson again. Maria, dear, there were people from the bank today. Your sister was begging them for more time. Did they give it to her? No, honey. They put up a notice. Auctions in 3 weeks. I thanked her and hung up, my hands shaking slightly. 3 weeks. The moment I'd been waiting for was finally here. That evening I drove back to Maple Grove alone. The house loomed in the darkness, a shadow of its former grandeur. The Corvette sat in the driveway, covered in dust. Dad's pride and joy, now just another asset Tessa couldn't maintain. A light flickered on upstairs. I watched Tessa pace, phone to her ear, gesturing frantically. Even from here I could see her desperation. My own phone buzzed. A text from Uncle Vance. Have you heard about your sister? Maybe you could help her? I laughed out loud in the quiet car. Help her? Like they'd helped me. Another buzz, this time from Emery. Auction listing is live. Starting bid, $2.1 million. I pulled up the listing. There it was. My childhood home reduced to lot numbers and legal jargon. The photos showed rooms I'd once played in, now tired and faded. The garden where Mom had taught us about roses was a tangle of weeds. A movement caught my eye. Tessa had come outside, still in her silk pyjamas, despite the late hour. She stood in the driveway, staring at the Corvette like it might offer answers. You should have learned to change the oil, I whispered, remembering how Dad had tried to teach her, but she complained about getting her hands dirty. I was the one who'd actually learned, though he never noticed. My phone lit up again. An email from our contractor. Showroom plans are ready for review, just need the location. I smiled, looking at the house one last time before starting my car. In the rearview mirror, I watched Tessa hurry back inside, like a ghost fleeing the dawn. 3 weeks. In 3 weeks, I'd own every brick of that house, every memory it held, every dream it had denied me, and then I'd tear it all down. Back at my apartment, I opened my laptop and replied to the contractor. Hold the plans. I'll have the address for you soon. One final check of Tessa's Instagram showed a new post, a sunset photo of the house, caption reading, "Some things are worth fighting for." Shaq, you're never giving up. I closed the app and opened my banking software instead. The numbers glowed back at me. 6.8 million. More than enough to buy the house 3 times over. Fight all you want, sis, I said to the empty room. Some battles are lost before they begin. Outside my window, the city lights twinkled like stars. Somewhere out there, my sister was probably still pacing, still making desperate phone calls, still believing she could save her perfect life. Let her pace. Let her pray. Let her post inspirational quotes. In 3 weeks, I'd show her what real salvation looked like. The auction house buzzed with quiet money. I adjusted my oversized sunglasses, watching Tessa work the room in last season's Prada, desperately networking with potential bidders. Remember, Emery whispered beside me, let Marcus handle the bidding. Stay calm. Marcus, our real estate proxy, nodded discreetly from across the room. To everyone else, he was just another developer in a sharp suit. Only we knew he carried my revenge in his briefcase. Please, I heard Tessa telling a silver-haired couple, this house has been in our family for generations. If you're bidding, please don't go too high. I can match a reasonable offer. The couple exchanged uncomfortable glances and moved away. All registered bidders, please take your seats, the auctioneer called. We'll begin in 5 minutes. I chose a spot near the back, watching Tessa sink into a front row chair. Her shoulders trembled slightly. Starting bid for 1542. Maple Grove is 2.1 million, the auctioneer announced. Do I have 2.1? Marcus raised his paddle. 2.1. 2.2, called a man in a blue suit. 2.5, Marcus counted smoothly. Tessa's head whipped around, scanning the crowd. I slouched lower in my seat. 2.7, blue suit offered. 3 million, Marcus said, his voice bored. The room stirred. Tessa stood up, her voice cracking. Please, I can match 3 million. I just need time to. 3.2, blue suit interrupted. 4 million, Marcus said. Blue suit shook his head, dropping out. 4 million once, the auctioneer called. 4 million twice. Wait! Tessa stepped forward, tears streaming now. Please, this is my home. My parents' home. I can get the money, I just need... Sold for 4 million to bidder number 47. The gavel crack echoed like a gunshot. Tessa collapsed back into her chair, shoulders shaking. People awkwardly filed past her toward the paperwork table. Time for the reveal? Emery asked softly. Not yet. I watched Marcus sign the papers. Let's wait until everyone leaves. The room slowly emptied. Tessa remained seated, staring at nothing. Finally, only a few stragglers remained. I stood, straightening my designer blazer, one of my own restored vintage pieces. Each step toward her felt like victory. Excuse me, I said, my voice carrying across the quiet room. I believe you're sitting in my house. Tessa looked up, mascara streaked down her cheeks. What? I removed my sunglasses slowly, savouring the moment her eyes widened with recognition. Maria? She whispered. But how? Remember my questionable business ventures? I smiled. Turns out dumpster diving can be quite profitable. You? She stood shakily. You bought our house? No, Tessa, I bought my house. The one you got because you were the responsible one. This was our parents' legacy. Their legacy? I laughed. Their legacy was telling me I'd never amount to anything, that I was unstable, unreliable. I stepped closer. How stable are you feeling right now, sis? You can't do this, she pleaded. This is our home. Was our home. I turned to leave, then paused. Oh, and Tessa? I always wanted the mailbox. Maria, wait! She grabbed my arm. At least let me keep some furniture, some memories. I jerked away. Like you kept anything for me. Check the will, sis. Everything inside is legally mine now. What are you going to do with it? I smiled, thinking of the demolition permits already filed. You'll see. You have 48 hours to clear out your personal items. Anything left becomes property of salvaged grace. Her face paled. Salvaged grace? That's That's you. Surprise. I wiggled my fingers in a mock wave. Turns out I'm pretty good at taking broken things and making them valuable, unlike some people. Please, she whispered. I have nowhere to go. Funny how that works, isn't it? I adjusted my bag on my shoulder. Better start packing, sis. The clock's ticking. I walked away, her sobs fading behind me. Outside, Emery waited by the car. That was cold, she said, but she was smiling. Cold is what they taught me to be. I slid into the passenger seat. Call the contractors. I want them ready to start demo the minute her time is up. What about the Corvette? I thought about Dad's precious car, how he'd never let me drive it. Have it towed to the scrapyard, but first, take lots of pictures. I have plans for it. As we drove away, I watched Tessa in the rearview mirror, standing alone on the auction house steps. Her perfect world had crumbled, just like mine had 6 months ago, but unlike her, I'd built something from the ruins. My phone buzzed. A text from Uncle Vance. Just heard about the auction. We should talk. I deleted it without responding. Let them all come crawling back now. Let them see what their unstable relative had become. The demolition would start in 2 days, and I'd make sure they all had front row seats to watch their precious legacy fall. The bulldozer's engine roared to life at exactly 8 a.m. I stood in the dewy grass, coffee in hand, watching the machine's yellow bulk approach my childhood home. Last chance to change your mind, Emery said beside me. Not a chance! I raised my cup in salute as the bulldozer's blade connected with the front porch. The wood splintered like matchsticks. A car screeched to a halt behind us. Uncle Vance jumped out, his face red. Maria, stop this right now! Sorry, Uncle Vance. Demolition permits are already filed. He grabbed my arm. This is insane. Your father built this house. No, I jerked away. He bought this house with old money, then gave it to his favourite daughter, who lost it. Funny how karma works. The bulldozer took out the bay window where Mom used to read. Glass tinkled like wind chimes. At least let me save the Corvette, Vance pleaded. I'll buy it from you. I smiled, sipping my coffee. Too late. It was hauled to the scrapyard yesterday. You didn't. I did. But don't worry, I'm recycling it. Every piece will have a new purpose. The second floor began to cave. Family photos, antique furniture, crystal chandeliers, all coming down in a symphony of destruction. This is sick, Vance spat. You need help. No, what I needed was family who believed in me. Too late for that now. He stormed off as another car pulled up. Tessa stepped out, wearing yesterday's clothes, eyes red from crying. I came to watch, she said quietly, standing beside me. It's the least I can do. How generous of you. The roof collapsed inward with a thunderous crash. Dust billowed up like smoke signals. I've been thinking, Tessa said, her voice barely audible over the destruction, about your business, Salvaged Grace. You're really good at it. I turned to look at her. And? Maybe I could work for you. Learn the business. I have an MBA. I could help with... You want a job? I laughed. Now? I need something, Maria. Anything. I pretended to consider it. Well, we do need someone to clean the workshop. Unpaid internship, of course. You know, to gain experience. Her face flushed. You're enjoying this, aren't you? Almost as much as you enjoyed getting everything in the will. The demolition team started on the garage. Each crash felt like applause. What are you building here? Tessa asked. A showroom. The new home of Salvaged Grace. I gestured to the construction plans on a nearby table. 3 stories of retail space, custom design studio, and corporate offices. All this just to hurt me. No, Tessa. All this to show you, to show everyone what the family failure could do. A worker approached with a clipboard. Ms. Maria, we found some boxes in the attic, family photos, albums. Bring them to my car, I said. I have plans for those too. Tessa's eyes widened. What are you going to do with them? Art installation. Every piece in the new showroom will incorporate something from this house. Every sale will be part of its destruction. You've lost your mind. No, I found my purpose. Isn't that what Mom and Dad always wanted? The last wall fell around noon. I stood in the rubble, breathing in dust and victory, while workers began clearing the site. Emery appeared with fresh coffee. The contractors can start foundation work tomorrow. Perfect. I surveyed the destruction. Make sure everything salvageable goes to the warehouse. I want to personally transform every piece. Even the mailbox, I smiled, spotting it among the debris. Especially the mailbox. That's going right out front when we're done. Tessa remained until sunset, watching workers cart away pieces of her former life. Finally, she approached me one last time. We're still sisters, she said softly. No, we stopped being sisters the day you sat silent while they cut me out. I could have fought harder for you. I see that now. Hindsight's worthless, Tessa. But hey, if you want that unpaid internship, the offer stands. You can watch up close while I turn your inheritance into my empire. She left without responding. I stayed until the floodlights came on, watching workers sort through the remains of my past. My phone buzzed. A message from our contractor. Foundation pour scheduled for Thursday. Design team needs final approval on showroom specs. I opened the plans, studying the space where my childhood home had stood. Soon it would rise again, transformed like everything else I touched. Emery touched my arm. Ready to go? Almost. I walked to where the front door used to be, picked up a handful of dust, and let it sift through my fingers. Some things have to be destroyed, I said quietly, before they can be rebuilt. Behind me, the floodlights cast my shadow long across the empty lot like a giant finely standing tall. The Corvette's twisted metal hung from my workshop ceiling like a modernist chandelier. Each piece had been carefully cleaned, polished, and transformed into something new. The engine block formed the core, while chrome trim and body panels spiraled outward like a metallic galaxy. It's beautiful, Emery said, tilting her head, in a slightly terrifying way. That's the point. I adjusted a hanging headlight. It'll be the centerpiece of the showroom. My phone buzzed. Another message from Andy. I messed up. I see it now. Can we talk? Delete. Speaking of messing up, Emery nodded toward my phone. Your uncle's outside again. I walked to the window. Sure enough, Vance stood by his Mercedes trying to look casual. Let him wait. He's been there 2 hours. Then he can wait 2 more. The warehouse door opened, and Kira, our family lawyer, strode in like she owned the place. Maria, she called out, we need to talk. No appointment, no talk. I turned back to my chandelier. This is about your business license. There might be some complications. I laughed. Let me guess. Uncle Vance asked you to find something? She shifted uncomfortably. I could help smooth things over. Like you smoothed over the will reading? I faced her fully now. My licenses are perfect. My permits are perfect. My taxes are perfect. Want to know why? Because I knew you'd all come crawling back trying to find weaknesses. Maria. Get out, Kira. And tell Vance he can leave too. After she left, Emery checked her tablet. Forbes wants an interview. They're running a feature on disruptive design innovators. Perfect timing, I smiled. Schedule it for next week and make sure they photograph me with the chandelier. The story broke 3 days later. Salvaged Grace, the $1 million empire built from trash, splashed across Forbes' digital homepage, complete with photos of me amid my creations. My phone exploded. From Andy. This explains so much. Please call me. From Vance. We're family. We can work something out. From Tessa. I'm proud of you. Really. Delete. 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 The warehouse filled with camera crews and reporters. Everyone wanted to know how the mysterious founder of Salvaged Grace had stayed hidden so long. I believe in letting the work speak for itself, I told them, standing beneath the Corvette chandelier. Every piece tells a story of transformation. And this piece? A reporter gestured to the chandelier. What's its story? It's about family legacy. I smiled directly into the camera. About taking something precious and making it your own. That evening, Emery found me in my office, watching Tessa's latest Instagram story. She was selling her designer wardrobe piece by piece. Your sister's being destroyed on social media, Emery said. Former friends calling her a failure, mocking her fall from grace. Calm as a patient teacher. Maria? Emery hesitated. The contractors found something in the rubble. A box of your childhood drawings. Your mum had saved them all. I kept my voice steady. Add them to the installation materials. Are you sure? Some of them. Everything burns. I cut her off. Everything transforms. My phone lit up with a new message from my old neighbour, Mrs. Peterson. Your sister's sleeping in her car. Thought you should know. I closed the message without responding and opened my design software instead. The showroom was taking shape on screen, 3 floors of retail space, each telling part of my story through transformed pieces of my past. The front door chimed. Andy walked in, looking exactly as I remembered. "You can't be here," I said without looking up. "I came to apologise. What you've built, it's incredible." "It is, and you could have been part of it." "I know that now. Maybe we could. Get out." "Maria," I finally met his eyes. "You left a note, Andy. A note. Now you want back in because I'm successful." He stepped closer. "I was wrong." "Yes, you were. And now you can leave the same way you came in, through that door, alone." After he left, Emery brought me coffee and pulled up the latest sales figures. "We've doubled our projections since the Forbes piece." "Good." I studied the Corvette chandelier, watching it slowly rotate. "Schedule a showroom opening for next month. Invite everyone." "Everyone?" "Family, friends, everyone who ever doubted. I want them all to see what their unstable girl built from their scraps." Night fell, but I stayed late, working on designs for the final installations. Each piece would incorporate something from my old life, transformed, elevated, but recognisable to those who knew. My phone buzzed one last time. Tessa again. "The chandelier." "It's Dad's car, isn't it?" I typed back my first response in months. Was his car. Now it's my art. Then I turned off my phone and went back to work, surrounded by the pieces of my past, each waiting to be reborn into something stronger, something better, something that would make them all remember who they tried to break. Opening night gleamed like a fever dream. Crystal glasses clinked while photographers' flashes lit up the transformed space where my childhood home once stood. The Corvette chandelier spun slowly overhead, casting chrome shadows across the gathered crowd. "They're all here," Emery whispered, checking her tablet. "Every last one." I smoothed my vintage Dior dress. Another restoration, another transformation. "Time for the speech?" "Waiting on your cue." I scanned the room. Uncle Vance hovering by the champagne. Andy trying to look important near the press section. Kira networking with potential clients. And there, in a simple black dress that had seen better days, Tessa stood alone, staring up at the chandelier. I took the microphone. "Welcome to Salvaged Grace." My voice carried across the suddenly quiet room. "Some of you know me. Most of you know my work. Tonight, I want to tell you about transformation." Camera flashes intensified. "Every piece in this showroom was built from destruction. That chandelier?" I pointed upward. "Once a 1967 Corvette Stingray. These wall panels? Reclaimed wood from a family estate. The artwork? Created from photographs and memories that some thought worthless." Tessa's face went pale. "You see, I believe everything has value, if you're brave enough to break it apart and rebuild it into something stronger." I moved through the crowd, touching pieces as I passed. This table was my mother's prized antique. Now it's a statement piece that will sell for 6 figures. These light fixtures, crafted from crystal that once gathered dust in a china cabinet. Everything here has a story of resurrection. Reaching the central display, I paused. "And this?" I gestured to a massive mixed media piece. "This is crafted from my childhood drawings, the ones my family saved but never displayed. Now they're part of a piece that sold this morning for $500,000. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Tessa pressed a hand to her mouth. Some called me unstable, questionable, a disappointment. My eyes found each family member in turn. But here's the truth about being underestimated. It gives you the perfect cover to build an empire. Applause erupted. Photographers surged forward, but I wasn't finished. Tonight, everything you see is for sale, except one piece. I pointed to the chandelier. That stays as a reminder. Sometimes the things we destroy become more valuable than what we tried to preserve. The crowd broke into smaller groups, champagne flowing freely. Reporters clamoured for interviews, buyers placed holds on pieces. "Maria," Tessa's voice behind me. "Can we talk? Privately?" I nodded to security who led us to my office. Through the glass walls we could see the party below. "You used everything," she said quietly. "Every piece of our past. Fitting, isn't it? Since you got all of it in the will. I never wanted—" "Save it." I turned to face her. "You're not here to apologise. What do you want? A job. A real one. I'll start anywhere. Why should I trust you? Because I have nothing left to lose, her voice cracked. And because you're the only one who ever actually built something real. Before I could respond, the office door burst open. Tessa's eyes went wide. You vindictive little... Uncle Vance stormed in, face red with rage and champagne. You destroyed our legacy. No, I stepped between him and Tessa. I built my own. That car was priceless. Those antiques were mine to destroy. I smiled coldly. Or did you forget how inheritance works? He raised his hand, whether to point or strike. I'll never know. Security appeared instantly, removing him as he shouted about family loyalty and tradition. Tessa hadn't moved. You protected me, she whispered. Habit. I turned back to the window. The internship starts Monday, 6 a.m. Don't be late. She nodded, tears streaming. Thank you. Don't thank me yet. You'll be starting where I did, dumpster diving for treasures. After she left, Emery brought me sales figures from the first hour. We've already broken 7 figures, she grinned. And that's just the small pieces. Below, the party continued. I watched my family members slowly drift away, their illusions of power finally shattered. The chandelier kept spinning, catching light like memories, each piece of the old Corvette now part of something bigger, brighter, more valuable than before. My phone buzzed. A text from Mrs. Peterson. Your father would be proud. I deleted it without responding. This wasn't about making him proud. This was about making myself whole. Should we head back down? Emery asked. In a minute. I watched the chandelier turn, remembering the day I'd first seen that car, the day I'd been told I'd never have it. Now it was art. Now it was mine. Now it was worth more than they could have imagined. I straightened my dress and headed for the door. Let's go sell some memories. The crowd parted as I descended the stairs, cameras flashing, buyers beckoning. Above it all, the chandelier kept its slow dance, transformed from treasure to trash and back again, just like me. The morning after the opening, I arrived early to find Tessa already waiting outside the showroom, wearing work clothes and steel-toed boots. You're early, I said, unlocking the door. Couldn't sleep. She followed me inside, too busy thinking about everything I need to learn. The chandelier caught the dawnlight, sending fragments of brightness across the empty showroom floor. Display pedestals stood vacant. Every piece had sold last night. First lesson, I handed her a pair of work gloves. Beauty is everywhere if you know how to look. My phone buzzed. Another 7-figure offer from a hotel chain. I added it to the growing list. Maria. Tessa pulled an envelope from her bag. I wrote this last night. You don't have to read it. I don't need your apology letter. It's not an apology. It's an acknowledgement. I took the envelope but didn't open it. Get in the truck. We have dumpsters to check. As we drove, Tessa asked about each piece we passed, hungry to learn. Her questions were genuine, her attention focused. For the first time, I saw something of myself in her, that desperate need to prove worth. Back at the showroom, Emery waited with coffee and news. The Forbes piece went viral, she announced. We're trending nationwide. Any hate from the family? Uncle Vance tried posting a rant, but it got ratioed into oblivion. Turns out people love a good revenge success story. I nodded toward the workshop. Tessa, start sorting the new finds. Emery will show you how. Alone in my office, I finally opened Tessa's letter. Her familiar, precise handwriting filled the page. You earned this. All of it. Not through inheritance or tradition, but through pure talent and determination. I watched you transform trash into treasure while I couldn't maintain what was handed to me. You're not the family failure. You're the only one who truly succeeded. A knock interrupted my reading. Andy stood in the doorway. Last try, he said softly. I brought something you might want. He held out a familiar leather-bound book, my original design journal, the one he'd taken when he left. Keep it, I said. I don't need old dreams anymore. I'm building new ones. After he left, I walked through the showroom, past the empty pedestals waiting for new creations. Through the window, I could see Tessa in the workshop, carefully cleaning a carved table leg we'd found that morning. My phone lit up. A message from Kira. The paperwork is ready whenever you want to file for the business expansion. I typed back. Send it over. And Kira, you're fired. I have a new lawyer now. Outside, the construction crew was installing the final piece of my victory. The old brass mailbox, polished to a mirror shine, mounted beneath the salvaged grace sign. Ready for this? Emery appeared beside me with a stack of envelopes. What are they? Orders, commissions, interview requests. She smiled. The world wants to know what you'll create next. I took the envelopes and walked to the mailbox. Each one represents someone who saw value in what I built, not what I inherited. Maria, Tessa called from the workshop door. I think I found something special. I joined her at the workbench. She'd cleaned the table leg enough to reveal intricate hand-carved roses. Mum would have loved this, she said quietly. Maybe. I ran my fingers over the carved petals. But she never would have seen its potential in the dumpster. I get it now, Tessa met my eyes. Why you had to destroy everything to rebuild it. Do you? She gestured around the workshop. All of this came from seeing beauty where others saw trash, including me. I handed her a chisel. Then let's see what you can create. That evening, after everyone left, I stood alone beneath the chandelier. Its shadows danced across the floor like memories, but for the first time, they didn't hurt. My phone buzzed one last time. Mrs. Peterson again. Your mailbox looks beautiful out front, dear. I saw Tessa working today. You're both finally home, aren't you? I smiled, typing back, No, Mrs. Peterson. We're finally free. Walking to the front door, I ran my hand across the brass mailbox. Tomorrow it would fill with more orders, more opportunities, more proof that destruction could lead to creation. I thought of the letter in my pocket, of Tessa's acknowledgement, of the family that once dismissed me now watching my success from a distance. They wanted the old house to be their legacy. Instead, I built an empire from its ashes. Opening the mailbox, I placed the stack of orders inside. Tomorrow would bring new treasures to transform, new pieces to create, new stories to tell. They once told me I couldn't afford it. Now the entire world sends me letters through it. I locked up and walked to my car, leaving the chandelier spinning slowly in the darkness. Each piece of the old Corvette caught the streetlight, transformed but remembering, just like me, just like everything I touched, just like everything I would build next.